So good afternoon again. My name is Carly Glantz. I am the National and Online Recruitment Officer here at the Undergraduate Recruitment Office at Carleton University. And that probably doesn't mean much to you, and that's totally fine. The biggest takeaway that I want to say is that my job is really to help you. So I'm here to help you over the next, 29 minutes, over the next couple days, over the next couple of months, whatever you need. Myself and my colleagues are more than happy and are here to help. So my kind of journey to Carleton maybe started a lot like yours today, and it was at the Ontario University Fair. It looked a little bit different. For me, it was at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. For you, you have all of the universities laid out nicely in front of you. For me, when I got there, all of the universities had booths laid out in front of me. But the importance is the same. The information is the same. The connection is the same. So I really want to emphasize just congratulations for being here today and for allowing us to be part of your Ontario University Fair story. My story started on a Saturday, just like today. My mom and I headed to Toronto for the Ontario University Fair from St. Catharines. Don't think I saw anyone here from St. Catharines, but I'm from about an hour and a half away from Toronto. So my mom and I were heading into the big city. We took the GO train. Oh, Jack, you're from St. Catharines. Amazing. Howdy. We headed on the train. We had our Starbucks in hand. We were excited. I had my top schools that I definitely wanted to check out. And if I'm being completely transparent with you, Carleton was not on that list. I don't even know if I had heard of Carleton. When I got there, we got to the fair floor, and my mom said, "Okay, Car, take a deep breath. Let's do a little warm up." So she said, let's take a look. Right in front of me as I walked through, literally staring at me, maybe coincidentally, maybe not, was the Carleton University booth. It was bright, it was red, it was inviting. So my mom's like, let's do a little warm up. Let's catch the vibe for the day. We'll go chat with Carleton. Now, at the time, I was considering a business program. And I thought that would leave a lot of doors open for me. I'm a very creative person. So as we headed to the Carleton University booth, on the right was the Sprott School of Business table. Walked up to it, started talking to this random dude. Happens to be not so random. Little did I know he was actually the Associate Dean of the Sprott School of Business, which is pretty cool. And he was talking to me all about the International Business Program at Carleton. If you're interested in the International Business Program, give me a thumbs up or a heart. I'd love to see if anyone's looking at my program. Okay, amazing. And he was telling me about a program where I was going to get to understand a new culture, where I was going to get to learn a new language, and where I was going to get to do a mandatory year abroad in another country. So literally the whole rest of the day, this conversation was just supposed to be a warm-up school. I couldn't help but compare every other university program and conversation with the one that I had at the Carleton University booth about international business with Howard. And I'm really excited that hopefully today can be that moment for you. So welcome to our Carleton University booth, our virtual booth here at the 2021 Ontario University Fair.
Yeah, that's an amazing welcome, and I just want to echo those sentiments. My name is Stanley Philippe. I'm a recruitment officer and page liaison at Carleton. I'm a big fan of OUF, the Ontario University's Fair. I've gone even a bigger fan after today because it's been so much fun to be able to connect with you all. And being that this is the last session, I really want you guys, you folks, to really think about the conversations you've been having these last few minutes and an hour plus, and try to think of different types of questions you might want to ask us since you've now been immersed in the university world, because we're going to do our best to cover some of the higher level stuff, talking about scholarships and programs and so on. But we also want you to tell us a bit more about how you're feeling, what you're thinking about, what maybe has changed or not changed, or maybe has been clarified since you started your OUF journey, your virtual OUF journey. So it's great to be able to have conversations, because that's how we learn. That's how we grow, and that's how we ensure that we are connecting. And we love to start our conversations by connecting to our past, our present, and our future, and that is grounded in our location. So Carleton University acknowledges the location of its campus on the traditional unceded territories of the Algonquin Nation. And, it's an important thing to say. It's important to feel what that means. And it's important for us to be able to take that sentiment and have that kind of spread throughout all that we do. And I challenged our last group to think about the word Kinamaguan. It's a word you're going to hear a lot of if you do attend many Carleton sessions. And so just keep that word in the back of your mind, and we'll explore it again later on during your journey. Now, Carly, challenging yourself. Challenge yourself is something that we are looking to do. And maybe you can talk a bit about your initial challenge and then your current challenge for the folks who are watching this session.
Totally. So as I mentioned, I was at the fair and now I'm comparing everything, right, to Carleton. And I really challenge you folks today to do the same. This is your last presentation of the day, so you would have heard 3 other presentations. And I really challenge you to be critical about the people you met today. How did they make you feel? What is the university offering? What does the campus look like? And think about what's really important to you. When I got home from the university fair that day, I sat down with my new list, Carleton University being pretty close to the top now. And I started thinking about, okay, like what am I actually considering as I make this huge decision? And for me, it was the location of the campus, the city that it was in. So little things like, do they have professional sports? Will I get to see concerts? That kind of thing. That was really important to me. And maybe it is for you and maybe it's not. The program that they were offering, the proximity to my family and friends. These are all things that were important to me. So I challenge you to really think now, what is important to you as you're making this decision? Because as corny as it sounds, like this is your life. This is your decision that's going to make a big difference in the next at least couple years and moving forward. So it's super exciting. We're happy to be here along the way for that. But yeah, just challenge yourself to be really critical today. What do you got for them, Sten?
I'll just say I challenge you all to take on Carly's challenge. It's a good challenge to look at. And I also want to take a moment to give a shout out to the folks who are answering your questions that you are already asking in droves, which is really great. So big shout out to our entire team, but our 2 chat leaders. Emily, if you have a moment, maybe you can hop on the screen and say hi to the folks.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got lots of great questions in the chat, so keep them coming.
Awesome. And then our second chat leader is Jalil. Jalil, same thing. Hop on the screen and say hi to our future Ravens.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I got my sunglasses on because I'm hoping everyone has a really bright future. See you soon.
Oh, we love it. We love it. We love it. And we love, again, your questions, your interactions. So please continue to do so. And like Carly mentioned, this session is being recorded and we will post it later next week on our website, admissions.carleton.ca. So if you happen to miss anything, maybe if your internet is cutting out, which, we get it, it's 2021. We're all online. We all had that moment. That's totally cool. You'll be able to catch whatever you missed on our website. Okay, so Carleton University is a place like no other. It's a place many of us call home. As you can see here, there's a beautiful shot of our campus. And I really want to emphasize how beautiful this picture is because you may not believe this, but I actually took this picture. During the pandemic, I became a certified pilot. I got my piloting license because, what else do you do when you're in a pandemic but learn how to fly? And so I did that. And one day I decided, hey, go for a flight, social distance, of course. And got this beautiful picture and I'm very proud of it because it really showcases, thanks for the love. It really showcases how wonderful our campus is. We are a self-contained campus. That means everything that's Carleton is located in one spot. Your residence buildings are right on campus. Our athletic facilities are on campus. The vast majority of your classes will take place on campus as well. And then we're surrounded by a lot of greenery, a lot of green spaces you can see on screen. And of course, 2 awesome bodies of water, the Rideau River to your right, and then the Rideau Canal to the left. The canal becomes the largest skating rink in the world during the winter, which is something our students really take advantage of. I get a chance to work alongside our House of Commons pages as the page liaison. And if you're curious about what a House of Commons page is, please let our chat folks know. They will pass on my contact information. We can have a conversation about that. But what our students would do is they would skate from our campus right downtown to Parliament Hill, so right to work, which is really great. So Carleton is located right in the heart of the city of Ottawa, about 15 minutes from the downtown core. Now, this picture that I took really does showcase our campus, but it doesn't show everything. There's one huge thing that's not visible on this picture. What is that one thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the things that definitely makes us super unique. And if you've been to Carleton before, throw it in the chat. Let us know what it is. But it is our underground tunnel system. So we actually have over 5 kilometers of a network of underground tunnels that connect every single building on campus. So yes, this is amazing if it's, pouring rain or it's a particularly cold day. Yes, Jack Tunnels, you got it. But what's really cool about it is that it also makes us the most accessible campus in Canada. And that's something that we really strive ourselves on, whether it's, physical accessibility, whether it's educational accessibility, or whether it's financial accessibility. So I'm going to chat a little bit now about our awards and financial aid that we offer at Carleton. Now, take that number in there, $28 million. It's a pretty big chunk of change. And I challenged you earlier to be critical and to compare universities. And this is a really good opportunity to do that. Not to kind of toot our own horn here, but, toot toot. We have a pretty generous entrance scholarship program here at Carleton. And what that starts with, like I said, is with our entrance scholarships. So I'm going to kind of break it into 3 sections. And I'll start with the ones that you don't have to apply for. So, yep, you heard it. Our entrance scholarships are automatic. That means that if you apply to a program at Carleton, you're actually going to automatically be considered for these entrance scholarships. They start at a minimum of 80%. If you have a minimum of 80%, you're automatically going to get $1,000 from us. That's renewable for 4 years of your undergrad degree, all the way up to $4,000 a year. So that's totaling $16,000 if you can renew it every single year. Now, I'm mentioning this word renewable. What does that mean? So that means that you have to maintain at least an A- or around an 80% to renew your scholarship. But what that does mean is if you come in from high school with a 95%, and we're giving you that $4,000 a year, all you have to do is maintain an A- or, like I said, around an 80, and you're going to get that same amount of money every year. The second kind of big area that I want to chat about in terms of scholarship is something called our Prestige Scholarship. So if you've heard of these, they're known kind of as like our big ticket scholarships, and they are for our high achieving students. So if you have a minimum of 90% and you're involved in extracurriculars, so that could be, in your community, it could be at your school, you can actually get up to your full tuition. Yes, a full ride covered by Carleton University. What's really awesome about these is that there's 24 of them in total. But the beautiful thing is that you actually only have to fill out one application, and then you're going to automatically be considered for all 24. So if you have that minimum 90% average, I highly recommend that you check out and apply for our Prestige Scholarship. Now, the third kind of topic I want to cover today, and again, this is really just scratching the surface when it comes to scholarships and bursaries. So there's tons more options available, and we'll pop that link in the chat now. But when I'm talking about bursaries, what I'm talking about is money given out based on financial need as opposed to academic achievement. So what we do is we look at your financial need, and at Carleton, we like to call that kind of like your financial snapshot. We look at your financial snapshot, and if you show financial need, we'll give you money there as well. We also offer leadership bursaries, which take into account your involvement again in the community. And what's really awesome about our scholarship and bursary program at Carleton is that you can add up those scholarships you get, those bursaries you get, add an OSAP, whatever it is, to really navigate the post-secondary landscape and start to tear down those barriers, because here at Carleton, we don't want financial need or your financial snapshot to be a barrier when it comes to joining our amazing community.
Yeah, and it's a really amazing community to join. So I'm glad that and the folks in the chat are loving all this great information about scholarships. So thanks for sharing that, Carly. Yeah, the Carleton community is a special one. It's one that I'm so proud to be a member of. Over 31,000 students at Carleton currently, which means that we're a mid-sized school in Ontario. We're not too big, we're not too small. Big enough, you have access to some amazing facilities, some new ones too, including our brand new Nickel building, home to our Sprott School of Business. And we're small enough that you get to really know everyone, get to know folks on a personal level. And it's great when you have a diverse community to discover. We have students from over 150 different countries that call Carleton home. And so that makes it even more welcoming, more inviting, and just awesome stories that you get to learn from and share as well. I just want to run through a few kind of stats, because it's important to showcase who we are. And who we are is a place that offers 24/7 free mental health counseling. If the pandemic has shown us anything, is that it's important for us to really look out for each other, to take care of one another, and to take care of ourselves too. And so having that resource available for all of our students to tap into whenever they need is really vital for us. $86 million in research funding in 2020 puts us in the top 3 in growth again this past year. That's 2 years in a row where we've seen a lot of growth in research funding. What that means for students, it means access to a lot of really great work opportunities, research opportunities for yourself at the undergraduate level to get involved in that game-changing research. And we also get a chance to really attract awesome professors who are leaders in their fields doing that impactful research every single day. So huge for us to be able to say that, and we'll continue to invest in your opportunities. Second most sustainable university in Canada. I mean, you notice the green spaces on our campus. Even this picture here, you can see in the foreground, the leaves are changing colors. It is fall, and so we're going to see a lot of cool colors on campus over the next couple of weeks into November. And so sustainability is always at the forefront for us. And then number 1 most accessible university in Canada for students with disabilities. And the tunnels are just the beginning of that conversation, that story. The Paul Menton Center for Students with Visible and Non-Visible Disabilities is a great place for all students to know about. So we're very proud of how accessible our campus can be. Now, when I noticed in the chat, I noticed that there are a lot of folks asking questions about programs, declaring the program that they are in love with already, which makes us super excited. So, Car, maybe you can paint that picture, create a Matrix 4 type trailer where you get people super excited about what type of programs are waiting for them at Carleton U.
The pressure. Yeah, I think when we're really thinking about programs, we're thinking about that no matter what you choose, you're either learning how the world works or how you can change the world. And you really just need to figure out what lens is right for you to figure that out, and what lens do you want to use. So as you can see on the slide here, we have more than 100 undergraduate and graduate programs. And that's not even including combinations of programs and double majors and minors and all these words that you're going to start to learn about. Now, to kind of break down what we have at Carleton, I want to share with you folks our 5 faculties. And 5 faculties are kind of like academic houses, because I'm a big Harry Potter fan, so that's the way I like to look at it. Let me know what house you're in the chat if you're a Potterhead. But our 5 faculties at Carleton include the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, the Faculty of Public Affairs, the Faculty of Science, the Sprott School of Business, and our Faculty of Engineering and Design. So these are kind of like the houses, and then our 100+ programs are located within the different houses. So there's lots of different information that you're going to gather. It's hard to narrow it down from 1 to 100, but there's a lot of different tools that we have in place, and different things that you can access to make it easier for you. So Sten, why don't you share some of that with them?
Yeah, for sure. And, if I'm a huge Marvel fan, so any fans of Marvel, maybe you can tell me what's your favorite franchise, and that could be your faculty of choice. I don't know. I'm trying to get in where I fit in, but yes, this book right here is a really important book. It is your view book. It's going to give you access to a lot of important information about the programs we offer, about our residence experience, about our athletics and our varsity teams. Shout out to our men's soccer team that won their home opener last night, I believe, or yesterday, 3-0. But also we'll talk a bit about how you can actually get in. So for our Ontario high school students, we're looking for your top 6 grade 12 U or M courses, and included in your top 6 will be your prerequisite subjects. Huge shout out to Stefania C in the chat. They talked about wanting to learn more about communications and media studies. It's my program, and so I'm very happy to use that as my example. So if you're looking at communications and media studies, we're going to be looking for your English 4U mark if you're a student studying in Ontario, and in your next top 5 grade 12 U or M courses. That's the average that we're going to be using to admit you into your program. Also, same average we're going to be using to calculate your entrance scholarship or any other academic scholarships you'll be receiving from us. Now, the deadline to apply for Ontario high school students is January 13th, 2022. If you haven't heard that date already, I would be shocked because it's a common deadline across Ontario. So I'm sure many universities have already mentioned it, but we want to make sure you keep that in mind. January 13th, 2022 for Ontario high school students. The View book, again, really great resource. How can you get your hands on this book? Well, all you want to do is go on to 360.carleton.ca. You'll be able to create your Carleton 360 account if you haven't done so already. And Carleton 360 is this amazing online resource where you can really navigate and customize your application experience with us. So learn more about programs, register for cool events that are coming up, and so on. So definitely go on to Carleton 360. That's 360.carleton.ca. And then from there, you can then request us for us to mail you a View book. Speaking of awesome events, we want to shout out an event that's coming up very, very soon. It is our virtual Fall Open House happening Saturday, November 6th. Listen, we gave you all a really quick kind of overview, a feel, if you will, of what we have in store. But clearly, there's a lot more conversations to be had. And this is a great place to have conversations about programs you're interested in, services that you want to learn more about, deadlines you want to make sure you don't miss, and applications you want to make sure you get just right. So definitely go on to carleton.ca/open house for that. And before we move on to the next slide, we're going to bring back Emily in a little bit, because I want Emily to take a quick look at the chat and then kind of come up with the top 3 kind of questions that she's seen. So not right now, Emily, but in a little bit, I want to give you some time to prep to come up with your top 3 questions or areas that you're seeing in the chat. Okay, Car. People are asking about a lot of different things, but what they're not asking about, I'm sure they're thinking of, is your polo. Who are you wearing? It's Met Gala, OUF style. What are you wearing today?
Yeah, I couldn't be happier that you asked. Today I'm wearing this beautiful gray polo with the new Carleton logo, hot off the runway from the Carleton bookstore. Looks like you're wearing a similar vibe. What do you have on?
Yeah, actually, I was wearing a different line earlier today. I now switched to my Rodney line. This is the Quote the Raven specifically apparel. It's a really cool local designer, #support local. And we want to, sorry, that was pretty funny. So we want to make sure you all can look as good as we look telling you about Carleton. So Car, while I get my composure back, how about you tell them about the Ravens Insider List?
Totally. So what I want you folks to do right now is take out your phones. I know that you've had them away this whole time. You've been paying attention. Take out your phone and scan that QR code to get on our Ravens Insider List. And what this is going to get you, it's going to prompt you to fill out a little bit of information, and you're going to receive some exclusive Carleton swag and Ravens gear. We want to thank you so much for coming here today and allowing us to be part of your Ontario University Fair Day. And we want you to feel from this point on like you're part of the Carleton University community. And that means a lot of things, but it doesn't hurt to have some awesome Carleton swag to help with that feeling. So scan that QR code right now. I'm going to leave it on for maybe 30 more seconds so that you can get that link. But yeah, we're super happy to have you join our Ravens Insider List.
And for real, folks, support local. Now, I want to bring Emily back on this time to tell us the top three kind of conversations that you're having on the chat. Emily, let's start with your number 1.
Okay, so number 1 is about work opportunities. People have questions about co-op, placement, internships. do our programs offer that?
Yeah, you'll see that in the view book. Actually, you'll see that there are programs that we've identified with a little kind of star that indicates that co-op is available, and there are other work opportunities. Literally every single program that you'll see at Carleton will offer some form of experiential learning. So a chance to go out there into the field and to either work, volunteer, to really kind of get a sense to how you could drive your degree into a career. So yes, and we will have a Live at 5, which you'll learn more about later on, a session online where you can learn more about a co-op at Carleton. What's number 2?
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Number 2 is we have some people asking about being able to study abroad for a semester, for a year. Do our programs offer that or allow students to do that?
Yeah, a lot of programs do offer exchange opportunities. A couple of them have it built in. Carly, you actually got a chance to travel with your degree program. So maybe you can quickly touch on what was that like and talk more about the international opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our programs, depending on your kind of academic status, do have the opportunity to have a travel abroad, a study abroad option. There's lots of different ways to do it. Some programs, like Stead said, in my case, it was mandatory. You could go for a semester. We have international, 2-week courses with professors. We have alternative spring break where you can go and do some community service learning. So there's so many different opportunities to have that international experience. In my program, International Business, in my first 2 years, I studied extensive Spanish, intensive Spanish rather. My English, I guess, isn't so good. And in my 3rd year, I actually studied abroad at a private business school in Valencia, Spain, which was absolutely amazing. So I got to take some core business courses in Spanish, got to improve my cross-cultural competence, got to travel around Europe and made some really amazing friends and had some pretty unbelievable network opportunities that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. So definitely always encourage, if it's in the cards and if you can, to study abroad.
And what's your last one, Emily?
Okay, my last one is, we've been getting a lot of questions from students who are asking how is, and then insert program. So maybe you could just talk a little bit about what it's like to be a student, what it's like to sit in a classroom, what is it like to be a Raven? How is Carleton?
Yeah, and I think that is kind of like the heart of the conversation is, what is insert program and what is it like to be in a classroom? And I think one of the things we want students to do, and this is why we talked about the beginning of the convo, is we want you to begin by thinking about, okay, well, what university, what city, what campus, and then ultimately get to that, what program and what kind of impact do you want to have when you graduate? Because the programs are going to give you the skill set, the understanding, the inspiration to change the world, to impact the world. And so our classrooms, what are they like? They're like inspiring TED Talks. They're like, on the job training. They're just, really great opportunities for you to test drive your ideas, to do your own research, and to constantly build towards making that impact that's going to last a long, long time. So we're going to give you all so many great opportunities to discover more about the programs that we offer. We wish we could give you everything right now, but we certainly will be along every step of the way to continue to have these conversations. So thank you, Emily, and our entire team for the chat help and assistance, and thank you all so much for all of the great conversations that are happening in the chat. I know we're going a little bit long. This is the last one today, so we just don't want to let go of OUF. I think it's like us holding on to this thing that we're so happy to be part of again. And again, big shout out to all of you for logging on wherever you might be and having a conversation with us. Before we end this conversation, Carly, do you have any last words that you want to share?
Yeah, thanks so much, Sten. And honestly, the biggest thank you I can give is to all of you for coming to the Carleton University, virtual booth today. And beginning your challenge. This is such an exciting time for you, and it's okay to also be a little nervous and a little freaked out and a little overwhelmed. Because if you weren't, I'd be a little bit more worried. So thanks for allowing us to, again, be part of that experience for you. And we really like to say at Carleton, like, let's keep this conversation going. So whether that's tomorrow, whether that's November 5th at our open house, over the next couple of months, we're not going anywhere. We're here for you. And there's so many different ways for us to stay connected. So we look forward for you to become a Raven and join our community. And thanks for taking the first step today in doing that.
And in the words of Jack in the chat, go Ravens.
Go Ravens.
See y'all.